Living alone in your golden years can be one of life's greatest freedoms. You wake up when you want, eat what you choose, and enjoy the peace that comes with having your own space. But what if I told you that the very home you've worked so hard to maintain might be hiding dangers that could change everything in an instant? At 73, Margaret thought she had it all figured out. She'd lived in the same house for 40 years, knew every creaky floorboard and every light switch by heart. She felt safe, independent, and proud of her ability to manage on her own. Then one Tuesday morning, something as simple as reaching for her favorite coffee mug nearly cost her everything. What she didn't realize was that her home had slowly transformed from a sanctuary into a minefield of hidden hazards. If you're living alone or have a loved one who is, this video might be the most important thing you watch today. Because the truth is, most accidents that happen to older adults living alone aren't caused by dramatic events or serious health emergencies. They're caused by small, everyday hazards that we walk past dozens of times without noticing. And once an accident happens, everything changes. In this video, we're going to uncover 8 tiny home hazards that put older adults living alone at serious risk. These aren't obvious dangers like broken stairs or faulty wiring. These are subtle threats hiding in plain sight, waiting for the wrong moment to strike. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and how to protect yourself or someone you care about. Stay with me until the end, because some of these hazards are so common that you probably have them in your home right now. And if you know someone living alone, sharing this information could literally save their life. Now, let's get started. Hazard 1. Throw rugs and small carpets. Walk into almost any home, and you'll find them everywhere. Throw rugs in the bathroom, small carpets by the front door, decorative mats in the hallway. They seem harmless enough, even helpful for wiping feet or adding comfort underfoot. But for older adults living alone, these innocent-looking pieces of fabric can be deadly traps. The problem isn't the rugs themselves, it's what happens when they shift, curl, or bunch up. Over time, even the best-placed rug will start to move. The corners lift slightly, creating a small ridge that catches the toe of a shoe. The edges curl up from foot traffic, forming a tiny ramp that can send someone tumbling. And when you're living alone, a simple trip and fall isn't just an inconvenience, it can be a life-threatening emergency. Think about Robert, an 81-year-old man who lived independently in his 2-bedroom house. He had a small bathroom rug that he'd used for years without problems. But one morning, as he stepped out of the shower, his wet foot hit the edge of that rug. It slipped sideways, and Robert went down hard, hitting his head on the tile floor. He lay there for 6 hours before a neighbor found him. What started as a simple bathroom routine ended with a concussion and a broken hip. The danger multiplies when you consider that many older adults shuffle their feet slightly when they walk, making it easier to catch those lifted edges. Poor lighting makes it harder to see when a rug has shifted out of place. And if you're taking medications that affect balance or cause dizziness, even the smallest obstacle becomes a major threat. If you can't imagine living without rugs, at least make sure they're secured properly. Use double-sided tape, rug grips, or non-slip pads underneath. Better yet, consider removing them entirely from high-traffic areas and anywhere you walk frequently at night. Because when you're living alone, preventing a fall isn't just about avoiding injury. It's about maintaining the independence you've worked so hard to keep. Hazard 2. Poor lighting in hallways and stairways. Lighting is something most of us take for granted until it's too late. During the day, natural light from windows makes it easy to navigate your home. But what happens when the sun goes down, or when you need to move through your house in the early morning hours? For older adults living alone, inadequate lighting in hallways and stairways creates a perfect storm for accidents. As we age, our eyes need more light to see clearly. What seemed bright enough at 50 feels dim at 70. Shadows that were once minor inconveniences become major obstacles, and when you're navigating stairs or long hallways in low light, your brain struggles to judge distances and spot potential hazards. Consider Helen, a 76-year-old woman who had lived in her 2-story home for decades. She knew every step, every turn, every corner by memory. But one evening, coming down the stairs to get a glass of water, she misjudged the bottom step in the dim hallway light. The fall broke her wrist and left her stranded at the bottom of the stairs for hours until her daughter called to check on her. The problem isn't just darkness, it's the transition between light and shadow. Your eyes need time to adjust when moving from a bright room into a dimmer hallway. That adjustment period, even if it's just a few seconds, is when accidents happen. You think you see clearly, but your vision is still catching up to the change in lighting. Night lights might seem like a simple solution, but many people place them incorrectly or choose ones that are too dim to make a real difference. The goal isn't just to add light, it's to create consistent, even lighting that eliminates shadows and makes it easy to see obstacles, changes in floor level, and anything that might cause a fall. Motion sensor lights are particularly valuable for older adults living alone because they automatically turn on when you enter a space, eliminating the need to fumble for light switches in the dark. But the key is placing them strategically and making sure they're bright enough to actually help, not just create a false sense of security. Hazard 3. Clutter and items left on the floor. When you live alone, it's easy to let things pile up. A magazine here, a pair of shoes there, maybe some mail on the floor by the front door. It happens gradually, almost invisibly, until your home becomes an obstacle course you navigate without even thinking about it. But what feels familiar and manageable to you can become a serious hazard, especially in an emergency. The danger of clutter isn't just about tripping over obvious obstacles. It's about how clutter changes your movement patterns and creates unpredictable hazards. When you're used to stepping around that pile of books or sidestepping those shoes, you develop automatic habits. But what happens when you're distracted, rushing, or not feeling well? Suddenly, those familiar obstacles become threats. Take Frank, a 79-year-old man who enjoyed reading and often left books and newspapers scattered around his living room. He'd developed a routine of stepping around them, and it never seemed like a problem. But one afternoon, feeling dizzy from a new medication, he forgot about the stack of magazines by his chair. He tripped, fell backward, and couldn't get up on his own. What made it worse was that the clutter blocked his path to the phone, leaving him trapped until a neighbor happened to stop by hours later. Living alone means there's no one to point out when clutter is building up, or when pathways are becoming blocked. You adapt to the mess gradually, not realizing how it's affecting your safety. And in an emergency, when every second counts, clutter can prevent you from reaching a phone, getting to the door for help, or even just moving safely through your own home. The solution isn't necessarily to keep your home spotless, but to keep pathways clear and create designated places for commonly used items. Think about the routes you walk most often, from your bedroom to the bathroom, from the kitchen to the living room, from any room to the telephone. These pathways should always be completely clear, even if other areas of your home are more relaxed. Hazard 4. Unstable furniture and wobbly chairs. Furniture that feels sturdy today might not be as reliable as you think. Over years of use, joints loosen, screws work their way out, and what once felt solid becomes unstable. For older adults living alone, unstable furniture presents a double danger. It can cause falls when it gives way unexpectedly, and it can fail to provide support when you need it most. The problem is that furniture deteriorates gradually. A chair that wobbles slightly today might seem manageable, even familiar. You learn to sit down carefully, to avoid leaning too far to one side, to get up slowly. But furniture doesn't get better over time. It only gets worse. And the day that wobbly chair finally gives way might be the day you're not prepared for it. Picture this. Martha, an 82-year-old woman who prided herself on her antique dining room set, had been using the same wooden chair for her morning coffee routine for over 20 years. She knew it creaked a little when she sat down, but it had always held for the sugar morning, reaching her weight. One bowl, she shifted her weight slightly to the right. The chair leg, weakened by decades of use and a loose joint she'd been ignoring, snapped completely. Martha crashed to the floor, the chair collapsing beneath her. What made Martha's situation even more dangerous was that she had been relying on that same unstable chair to help her stand up. Many older adults use furniture for support without realizing it, grabbing the back of a chair to steady themselves, leaning on a table edge while getting up, or holding onto a dresser while putting on shoes. When that furniture fails, you don't just fall. You fall without any way to catch yourself. The warning signs are often subtle but unmistakable once you know what to look for. Chairs that rock slightly when you sit down, tables that shift when you lean on them, or bookcases that seem to sway when you reach for something on a high shelf. These aren't just minor annoyances. They're accidents waiting to happen. Living alone means there's no one to notice when your furniture starts deteriorating, or to remind you to fix that wobbly table leg. You adapt to the instability, compensating without realizing how much extra strain you're putting on your balance and coordination. But your body's ability to compensate diminishes over time, while the furniture only gets more unstable. Hazard 5. Bathrooms without safety features. The bathroom is where independence and vulnerability collide most dramatically. It's a space where older adults living alone face some of their greatest risks, yet it's often the last place people think to make safety improvements. Wet surfaces, hard edges, and the need to move between standing and sitting positions create a perfect storm of potential hazards. The danger isn't always obvious. You might have navigated your bathroom safely for years, developing routines that work around its limitations. But as balance changes, strength decreases, or medications affect coordination, what once felt manageable becomes treacherous. And when you're living alone, a bathroom accident can leave you trapped and unable to get help. Consider the story of Edward, a 74-year-old man who lived independently and took pride in maintaining his own home. His bathroom was typical of many homes built decades earlier. No grab bars, a standard toilet height, and a bathtub with smooth surfaces. Edward had always been careful, holding on to the towel rack when getting in and out of the shower. But towel racks aren't designed to support body weight, and one evening, as he stepped out of the tub, the rack pulled away from the wall. Edward fell backward into the tub, injuring his back and unable to climb out on his own. The lack of grab bars is just one problem. Many bathrooms have toilets that are too low for older adults, making it difficult to sit down and even harder to stand up without assistance. Smooth bathtub and shower surfaces become slippery when wet, and there's often nowhere safe to hold on for support. Medicine cabinets placed too high require dangerous reaching and stretching. Even the bathroom door itself can become a hazard if it opens inward, potentially trapping someone who has fallen behind it. What makes bathroom hazards particularly dangerous for those living alone is the privacy factor. When accidents happen in other parts of the house, there's usually a chance that someone might hear calls for help or notice something is wrong. But bathrooms are private spaces, often located away from main living areas, where cries for help might go unheard for hours or even days. The solution involves more than just adding a few grab bars, though that's certainly important. It's about reimagining the bathroom as a space where safety and independence can coexist. Non-slip surfaces, adequate lighting, easily reachable storage, and multiple points of stable support can transform a bathroom from a danger zone into a space where you can maintain your privacy and dignity while staying safe. Hazard 6. Kitchen dangers and hard-to-reach items. The kitchen should be the heart of independent living, a place where you can prepare your own meals and maintain control over your nutrition and daily routines. But for older adults living alone, the kitchen can harbor hidden dangers that turn simple tasks into risky endeavors. From items stored too high to appliances that require awkward positioning, everyday cooking activities can quickly become hazardous. The most obvious danger is reaching for items stored on high shelves or in upper cabinets. Many people have organized their kitchens the same way for decades, with frequently used items in familiar places. But what was easily reachable at 50 becomes a stretching challenge at 75. The problem isn't just the height, it's the instability that comes with reaching overhead while standing on tiptoes, or worse, on an unstable chair or step stool. Think about Dorothy, an 78-year-old woman who loved to bake and had always kept her mixing bowls on the top shelf of her kitchen cabinet. She'd been reaching for them the same way for years, stretching up on her toes and pulling them down carefully. But one afternoon, reaching for her favorite ceramic bowl, she lost her balance. The bowl crashed to the floor, and Dorothy fell with it, cutting her hand on the broken pieces and twisting her ankle in the fall. She lay on her kitchen floor for over an hour, surrounded by sharp ceramic fragments, before she could safely maneuver to the phone. But overhead reaching isn't the only kitchen hazard. Heavy pots and pans stored in lower cabinets require bending and lifting in awkward positions. Appliances placed too far back on counters necessitate dangerous leaning and stretching. Even the kitchen sink can become problematic when reaching for items that have fallen to the bottom or trying to clean large pots that require awkward positioning. The danger multiplies when you consider that kitchen accidents often involve additional hazards: hot surfaces, sharp objects, slippery spills, and breakable items. A simple loss of balance while cooking can result in burns from the stove, cuts from knives, or dangerous falls onto hard surfaces. And when you're living alone, there's no one nearby to help if something goes wrong or to notice if you've been injured and need assistance. These 8 hazards we've discussed today aren't just theoretical dangers. They're real threats that exist in homes across the country right now. From throw rugs that shift underfoot, to unstable furniture that fails when you need it most. From poor lighting that hides obstacles, to kitchen dangers that turn simple tasks into risky endeavors. These small hazards have the power to change everything in an instant. The truth is, living alone doesn't have to mean living dangerously. Every one of these hazards can be addressed with simple, affordable changes that don't require you to give up your independence or completely redesign your home. It's about being proactive rather than reactive, making adjustments before an accident happens rather than after. Take a walk through your home today with fresh eyes. Look for those throw rugs that have started to curl. Test that chair that's been wobbling. Check the lighting in your hallways. Ask yourself, if I fell right here, right now, would anyone know? Would I be able to get help? These aren't pleasant questions, but they're necessary ones. Because at the end of the day, the goal isn't just to live independently. It's to live safely and confidently in the home you've worked so hard to create. Your independence is precious, and protecting it starts with recognizing that small changes today can prevent life-changing accidents tomorrow. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.